took our jobs.
It's the one thing that a visit to America can do to a fine Englishman is turn him into a nice old raunchy American.
Took your jibs.
Well, welcome to Sunday Live Chat, everybody, and welcoming the special guests here, the legendary Pink Dots, and I also see Mark Spybey, Dead Voices on Air, sitting here too. Welcome, guys. You guys are currently sitting in Denver, Colorado, and
Mercury Cafe.
At Mercury Cafe, and congratulations, you are at day 39 of your Museum of Happiness tour.
I mean, it's not really day 30, it's day 39 for me because I actually counted it right from the very moment I have left Heathrow. So it's day 38 for
Day 38 for everyone else.
How many shows then?
oh no, it's 26.
26. Oh, only 26. Yeah, just 26.
26.
Was it 26 shows that you guys have now completed?
This is network tonight, it'll be 26, yeah.
I mean, that's quite a number of dates. On the left here on our camera is Eric Drost. Eric, the first time joining a chat, welcome. On our right here is the newly inducted member of the legendary Pink Dots, Mr. Randall Frazier, and also Orbit Service, the Mr. Multitasker of the tour. So I don't know where to begin. I mean, you guys, usually your perspective changes pretty drastically from the beginning and the end of the tour. Does it feel like you guys are just, Edward, I kind of got the idea that you were addicted to it again and you're back in the mode, or how do you feel? How are you feeling?
It is true. I mean, I'm really looking forward to getting home, you know, seeing Alone and Alice, you know, but I can't deny that sort of like being up there again and out there again, it does keep drawing you back. It's like, so yeah, I'm going on. I'm not going to stop this, you know, sort of like, not until I drop.
I mean, it gets harder and harder and harder as life goes on to even consider the idea of leaving your home for so long. And, you know, Edward, especially, you know, where you guys have to drive and also, you know, probably do the load-ins and all the rest of everything that's all physical about it. I don't know, in some ways it kind of reinvigorates you, but how are you guys feeling in general?
Good.
I mean, now I feel kind of okay. I was sick during the tour. That really did suck. You know, because it's like one of those things where you got a cold and you thought, nah, this is not going to stay just a cold. And in the end, I was like getting the antibiotics and things like that. It's just like, and it's all like really coughing up some really, you don't want to go there. But it's like, you know, it's.
But the word is phlegm.
Yeah, throat voice. Really. Yeah, it's phlegm. Yeah.
It's what makes it extra challenging is if you've got an issue like that where you get a cold or even just not feeling well to carry out the day-to-days. But so I noticing that you had the cough medicine out and stuff like there, and I was feeling like feeling for you there. There's not many solutions at that time on the road that one can give each other, but I can imagine that this probably made you feel better.
Oh,
we had a few. Yeah.
Smothered chunks.
Yeah.
How many do you think you hit on the course of the tour?
I don't know how many. Was it? It's about
Maybe 6. Yeah.
6. Wow, that's what a
We
blessing.
started diversifying our breakfast.
but you never ever go to Cracker Barrel. Cracker Barrel is bottom of the league.
Yeah.
It's the Qatar of dining.
People die to make that food. Yeah.
Edward, what was gummy sushi?
Well, I never tried it. I just saw it, so I thought I've got to take it because it looks so disgusting. But you know, I mean, I wouldn't touch that stuff. To be honest.
I mean, so there, you know, it's something that was that in the dressing room or was that in a shop that you went to?
That's in a shop. Yeah, you see
Okay,
some interesting things in shops, and so especially on the
So they didn't push it upon you and be like, oh, try our gummy sushi.
nobody fed me sushi. I'm relieved to say that.
I was amazed that you said like, Eric, you found one of your extremely long drives where you were driving all the way from Phoenix to Texas.
Uh-huh.
Incredibly long drive, like 20 something hours in total or something.
I guess so, yeah. Yeah.
It was a long one, yeah.
Yeah.
It was
And somehow Eric managed to find an Indian restaurant.
Yes. It just, yeah. And it turned out to be pretty good too.
it was actually good.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I mean, it's
At
all
a gas
plastic.
station.
It's plastic.
yeah, it was in a gas
Plus,
station.
That's incredible.
Yeah.
But,
Were they playing country and western music?
yeah, they were playing country and western music. Yeah.
It was interesting, but the food turned out to be really good. Yeah.
Oh, that's good. I'm glad to hear it. I mean, that's what supplies the fuel for all the shows that everybody gets to see. And, you know, that's important that you get those type of nutrients in your body, because you can't sometimes even eat dinner when you're on a show day, right? You just got to rely on catering.
Yeah,
That's true.
pretty much it. Yeah.
So as you look back upon the 26 dates of the tour, which ones come out as the highlights?
For me, Austin, that really was. I thought that was a great show. Austin.
Yeah, Levitation Festival was really good for us.
There are other good. New York, I really like that.
So you rolled in Austin, and basically this is after your lengthy drive, isn't it? And then they told you that you guys are on at like midnight or 12:30, and then there was really not a comfortable place to hang out or something.
Yep, that's right.
Yeah.
That's pretty much how it went.
That's probably how I got sick. To be honest.
That'll do it, you know. And look at that's the perseverance and like the energy that you put into putting on the show each night is like on top of all those other things, man. Congratulations. I saw the show in LA and I gotta say, I loved it.
Oh,
Thanks.
thank you.
Yeah, and I really like how all of you have gelled and come together. Eric, I think you're more prominent now than ever. And I really noticed like the subtleties in your effects and everything about your guitar. And yeah, it was wonderful. Randall, of course, it's your first tour being in the Pink Dots. You've opened for the Pink Dots for a number of tours with Orbit Service. How did it feel joining the band? And was it something that you were nervous about right away, or did you flow right into it?
Yeah, I was, the first couple of shows I was pretty terrified. But it started to feel pretty natural fairly quickly. And we started off with some really big shows, so it wasn't like we got a slow beginning for me to get my bearings. We played Salt Lake, and then it was like big show after big show after big show down the West Coast. So I don't know. I guess it also helps that I've been hanging around these guys so long.
Right. Yeah.
And
Well, Edward makes a fine choice because, he knows he's had the ability to work with you and travel with you already. And so those type of things are out of the way. And then you're super good and creative. And, we all love Orbit Service. So it's like, yeah, it's just kind of a natural. And it was great to see the two sound spectrums kind of meeting. Your usage of effects and the way that you use things is unique to you in your way. You actually really inspired me the last time I was with you. So I think you have a way of inspiring people. And so I think it's a great addition. I gather as you went on and you were playing with Orbit Service and you're playing with the Pink Dots each night, that you were probably looking forward to maybe the subtle differences that might be there between your two bands.
yeah, it's funny because really at this point the Orbit Service is basically the Pink Dots without Edward.
Yeah.
And yeah, but the guitar definitely takes front seat in the Orbit Service set now at this point. It's really kind of nice and refreshing and just cool. It definitely changed from what I had imagined it was going to be like.
We're looking at your set up here. I was noticing that I was intrigued by what you were doing there, and what sort of things were. I see the MPC 101. I see an iPad with a synthesizer. It looks like, what is that? The Animoog?
That's the Animoog, the old one.
Yeah, I love that one.
Yeah, me too. The Prophet Rev 2.
Nice.
And then it's all running through a little Midas analog mixer with some. Well, I've got that Chase Bliss 1978 reverb pedal and that Strymon Volante tape delay, which both play a really big part in ultimately what's hitting the speakers.
Yeah, as a matter of fact, I happened to pick up both of those as a result of your recommendation and talk. I must say, they are both uniquely fabulous pedals.
Yeah, I agree. They're both amazing. Really cool stuff.
Edward, how was it to have like a fresh blood on the stage with you?
It was actually, I mean, you just felt, I mean, this new energy that came in that we, sort of like, it's just really good. Obviously very different, but so, we were thriving, like Eric will agree with that as well. It's like that. It really just suddenly gave us new paths to follow. And
Oh, nice.
it's nice after all this time to sort of like suddenly discover these new sort of like possibilities and like the directions to go in.
I thought it was really cool. What I noticed, Randall, was those the depth of those effects spaces out quite a bit more than the regular effects. It's like the I don't know what it is about the 1978 reverb, but it fills out an extra space that regular gear doesn't touch. Eric, I noticed that you have like a really fine array of pedals when you're playing too, and I managed to see this shot here.
It looks a bit messy, but it's all there. Yeah.
It doesn't look messy to me. As a matter of fact, I was like looking into the idea of how does somebody make a pedal board that is like something that isn't just a meticulous setup every night?
What's that?
It seems like it. Do you take out each pedal one by one each day and then wire it all, or is it? I guess it's not something that remains set up and it gets put away in a pedal board.
Oh, no. Yeah. Well, for this tour, I sort of assemble. Well, this is actually early in the tour. It's different now, evidently. But yeah, but the bottom one is mostly the same setup has been the same setup, but the top one has some. I've been using a little LFO generators to influence the sounds on the other side. It's all been an experiment to me too, and that's what
What's
fun is all about.
There's a few pedals I don't recognize there. Is there what's I bet you there's some special ones. Did you Randall, did you discover some new pedals by looking at Eric's?
Well, Eric's, some of those Eric actually made.
Oh, wow.
So yeah,
Let's
Eric,
find out about this.
yeah.
We need to know. So what do we got here? Because I love the sound of the guitar. What was there? For instance, what is the effects that you couldn't live without?
Well, one of which is the one that got cut off on the bottom. That's the yellow one with the yellow knob on it. It's my Griffin pedal. I designed it myself, so it's my main distortion, and I use it. Yeah, that's the one. And the other one that I really couldn't live without is right next to it. It's the Boss analog delay. It's just the red one on the side.
The red. Yeah. And
those two are the basis for everything, basically. So yeah, and then just on top of that is my latest find. I've heard about it on the internet. It's Alexander pedal Syntax Error 2. which is an amazingly weird DSP driven thing with just crazy sounds all around and
Oh, wow.
programmable, and it's a fun little machine. So yeah.
What are these two? They look great. I don't know what they are.
The bottom one of those is the Alexander pedal, and the top one is the Geiger counter, which is a bit crusher,
Oh, right.
a wavetable synth thing inside. It is insane because even if you breathe on the knobs, it gets totally different sounds too, and it's crazy shit. And
That's
the
amazing.
yellow one with the red nose is another distortion that I built. The blue one on top of that is a Boss chorus, and then the blue one on top, on the other side, on the other board, that's also an invention of, well, and something I came up with. Let's put it that way.
What does it do?
It's sort of like a marriage between a Big Muff and a Distortion Plus. Not that it makes any sense.
Oh, nice. No, that does. Actually, they're very both two of the most popular distortions of the previous era, you might want to say.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So I decided to marry those and make a bastard child out of that. And it actually, it's crazy aggressive. It's not subtle at all.
Wow.
Hyper distortion.
I gather you carry this cabinet as well.
Yeah. It lives in Bailey normally, and I bought it for and I just leave it in the States basically.
Oh, that's a good idea.
Yeah.
Is that something that you can find when you're on the road and realize, oh, that's my amp for the US?
That is just a speaker cabinet, to be honest. There's my amp is like a tiny little thing that is just off the picture. It's a Quilter travel amp, which is great.
Oh, right, yeah. Oh, excellent. So it makes it easier to travel and stuff. Well, that's great to discover what's going on behind the scenes up there. I haven't ever had a chance to ask you about your involvement with the band in the sense of how has it changed? Like when Edward first inducted you, did he warp your brain into using more effects, or was it already there?
He has always pushed me into trying new things. So that's I had already collected quite a few pedals by that time, but it's the using them in different ways is I gotta come up with new shit every night. I feel to keep them entertained. So yeah.
Oh, that's awesome. Are you from Nijmegen?
I am from a small town in the center of Holland, but I lived in Nijmegen for a long time.
Had you heard of the legendary Pink Dots before you were joined, or how did the meeting come about?
I did hear of the Pink Dots before. I knew their old sound engineer, Raymond. I knew him.
Right.
He did sound for a project that I worked on back in the early 2000s, and we recorded a demo, and he played it to Edward at some point. And that's how we got a record deal with Beta Lectam.
That's the
girlfriends, yes. Yeah.
Actually, that was nice.
And I guess that's at some point I got a phone call and it was Raymond. He said, yeah. So Marty quit and they want you. It's like, they want me? Well, that's unlikely. And and back then I thought a show in Rotterdam on the other side of the country, it was a long way away. And then he said, well, we do have to rehearse a little bit because we're going to do a show in Moscow. I said, oh,
okay, only that.
Completely different ballpark here. And this, well, yeah, that's it's been a fun ride ever since.
Well, absolutely.
Yeah.
It's been a lot of years now.
How many years is it now, Edward?
Is it 15?
I think it's 15 altogether.
Are you kidding me?
No, Eric came in the band and he left after 3 years, but he came back again into 2009, basically, end of 2010, and been there ever since.
That's awesome. I mean, the reason I say, are you kidding me, is because I'm ever more increasingly sort of troubled by the fact that I always think back to when we were in Holland in 1993 as like being recently.
You can be really shocked by how weird the time.
Yeah,
Your mind, doesn't it? It's
it does.
meeting people who sort of like basically saw us singing in this very place, like in 1995. And I remember that show actually really well. But then it's a thing about how long ago that was. It's like, whoa.
In 1995, I didn't have a guitar yet.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
There you go.
I think it was 87 that we first toured together, Edward. So we're talking like 30, coming on 36 years ago. And I often will meet people, even yesterday, where I was at a convention and people were coming up and saying, I saw the Pink Dots 34 years ago or 28 years ago. And I'm like, yeah, it's a true story. It's amazing. Edward, do you still feel like you still get the same amount of touring now as you did before, or is the excitement not there as much?
It feels more precious than ever in some ways, because you do wonder sometimes how long you will physically be able to keep it up. So, I mean, hopefully it'll be a long time, but if you can tour and you get to sort of like this great age that I am, sort of like, do it, cherish it, because sort of like you know that if it stops, you're really gonna miss it. So I do love doing it.
Had you heard Eric's music before he actually joined? Had you heard?
The Girlfriends, it was indeed Raymond played me, The Girlfriend. So there were elements in it that reminded me a lot of This Heat, which is like one of my favorite ever bands. And it's just like, whoa, I was actually so blown away with it. Very special.
And what was the first project that you guys did? Was it a recording or was it a live venture?
It was live, wasn't it? It wasn't recording.
So he just threw you right in front of people right away.
In Moscow, indeed. It
Yes,
was
sold out show.
it was like nearly 1,000 people.
1,000 people. No pressure.
Yeah. Didn't feel like pressure at all.
So, I mean, in that case, sort of and Randall, for you too, like the idea that you're coming in and kind of like to have absorb and learn, the whole, get integrated. Did you feel that connection right away, Eric, as soon as you stepped on the stage, or did it take you a little while before you really felt like, wait, I fully am integrated into this way?
That's an interesting one.
Did it take you a while?
A little bit of both, because it felt really natural, really quickly. But then I also had to and that's probably why I had to leave after a few years, because it also was it was screwing with me, with my head, basically, all the touring and I mean, we toured a lot back in the days, and it was and it took me a little while to get used to that, I think. Yeah, I don't know, really. Yeah.
But the way we tour in the last 12 years, it's been more satisfying.
Yeah.
Than at that time. Like we actually we're very, in a way, like a tight ship. We arrive, we set up, we get everything working, we sound check. Then sort of like we meet people after the show, then we pack up, leave. Everybody does everything. It's just like everybody carries stuff, everybody takes care of like the accounting and everything on. So it's like a true collective where nobody is doing less than anybody else.
Yeah.
And that's particularly true of these last 12 years, and that's what makes it more satisfying.
Yeah.
It is just this, a train that arrives at the station, takes on all the passengers, lets off all the passengers again, and moves on. And it's actually really fun to do that.
It's not that you wouldn't want a tour. It's just that the challenging a tourist can like meet you face to face and say, oh, I really want to do this, but I don't know if, all those things. So once you've got all those things together, as you said, and Edward, you have a really fair system, I have to say. Like, you're the one band that I know of that you insist on everybody that's on the tour shares the same amount.
Yeah.
It's like, it is absolutely like that's called a family. And that's really called like integrating in a way that, it's, we're all in this all in one, and we're all in this together. And there's something really amazing about that. I don't think a lot of people think that way. I think that like, especially as well, when you were posting some of like the daily stories about the tales of touring and how you'll always relate back to a story of the challenge of being on the road. And, oh, by the way, I love the first press picture.
It's like easy talk without
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, one bit.
Yeah.
So-
Somewhere in Texas. Yeah.
Is that before you found the Indian food or after?
Before,
Yeah, it was
Oh, you guys do look hungry.
You've got weight in the Indian food, actually.
Get me some food. Yeah. So that's just great. I know that you guys, as well, when you tour, you guys like carry like a virtual supermarket of merch, and that can't be easy to be loading in and out every day.
No. It's not.
That's yeah, we have more merch than gear. Yeah.
I mean, what was this guy's name again? It was so nice to me. I met him. I forgot.
Funny.
Say hi. He's probably there in the building right now.
He's about 5 o'clock. isn't he?
Yeah, he's not here yet.
He's making sure he's out before work time. But yeah, no, I can imagine that like that the whole way that when at the beginning of the tour, it must look like this.
Yeah.
And as you get down, hopefully you get more room to stretch out.
Have to get lighter as we go along, which is kind of like something that we kind of thankful for.
No, it's good that you that you actually if you sell a good amount of merch, then basically the space should increase. But Edward, you and everybody, I gather that connecting with the audience has got to be important, whereby so many people have like a long-term connection now with you, the legendary Pink Dots, your sound. You must meet people that are just absolutely devoted. I mean,
Oh, right, yeah.
Right.
Like tonight, there are people that have flown in all over America for these couple of shows. It's like really, and as I say, they're like friends. It's not like fandom or something. It's really like this friendship. Wouldn't change it.
Randall, I noticed that in some of the pictures by the end of the tour, you seem to be almost headbanging. And I saw you on about the third or the fourth show, and you weren't headbanging yet. So you must have felt like you were completely integrating by the time you hit Niagara Falls.
Yeah, by then for sure.
Beautiful picture, by the way. Who snapped that one? Is that Edward?
That's one of mine, yeah.
Edward, that's frameable. Look at that thing. Seeing a marvel of the world as you're on tour. I guess that's also one of the other special things about traveling, is that you get to see at least something interesting.
Oh, that's beautiful, yeah.
During his I don't know. I think in the end, it's like in seeing you and everything every time, I think that it's great how you guys are not predictable. Like, it's like every time there's just such differences that basically you kind of have to absorb it. And it's like almost like a presentation of like familiar material that you might not recognize right off the bat, but it's like,
Everybody's looking at a different direction. I'm so pissed off today.
Yeah, sorry.
I'm not talking to you.
Yeah.
That's Philadelphia.
See the adventure picture. Yeah.
Challenging.
that's a great picture. What was this one for?
We were trying out different band pictures. So it was like the first one didn't have a youth in it. It was also like absolutely part of the band. Doing the sound. And so like we really wanted to get in a picture. But
Oh yeah, you got to. Forgive me. How do you correctly pronounce Joop's name?
You,
Joop.
yeah.
Yep, I know.
I mean, the one thing I love is the Dutch language for some of the unique sounds and everything. And I don't believe I've ever met a Joop before. So forgive me, Joop, for the pronunciation. Joop Hendricks. He's been on the road with you. He's hiding somewhere back in the.
Hi, you, come on over and say hi.
If you want to say hi for a second. If you've seen the tour, Joop has been at the controls, mixing the sound and making sure that. Hello, Joop.
Hello, good afternoon.
You're back there behind the controls, mixing each night. Where are you from?
I'm from the Netherlands as well.
What town in the Netherlands?
Small village down south. Hardly anyone will know. It's called Bergen.
That's nice. Well, everyone that has gone to see a Pink Dot show on the tour has to probably thank you for the mix that you're providing. Did you come from having some background in liking any sort of psychedelic music or experimental music?
Oh, that's a broad question, isn't it? Yeah, maybe not in the way, maybe more in experimental dance music, more than this kind of music that DotS do, but yeah, I listen to all kinds of music actually. I don't really say I would pin myself to one genre, but yeah, it was a nice, and like for instance, you pick up a lot of things from other musics that get implemented here. That's kind of how it works for me, at least. Like when I first came, Edward said like, "Oh, feel free to do whatever you want with my voice and like, you know, see where it takes you." And before that, for instance, I did a lot of ska and reggae music, so you pick up things from there with dub, and there's a lot of people together like that. So
all these different inspirations coming into one. That's so cool.
No.
I can also only imagine that when you guys tour, the things that you might play, do you play them privately in earphones to yourself, or do you expose others to music while you're traveling?
What, I mean, in the band, well, basically we hear, well, an enormous variety of music here.
Yeah, everybody plays their music. Yeah,
It's true.
Yeah.
I mean,
There's a lovely tolerance that
Yeah.
goes to this. Always like, you know, everybody listens to what anybody always puts on. There's never any take it off, yelling.
does anything ever get gonged?
no,
It's never happened.
Never happened.
Not yet. That's-
Has anybody ever discovered a band they've never heard before that now they really love as a result of that touring listening episode?
oh yeah, all the time.
Oh,
Yeah.
all the time. Yeah.
especially through the playlist, actually.
Yeah.
So Eric came up with the idea to make a playlist all together that we run before and in between sets. And everybody put their favorite songs in there, so you hear all the songs that people really like. And you pick up.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
right.
yeah.
That's-
kind of way to pick up.
That's a really good way to prepare music for that purpose.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, that's
Yeah.
great. Well, tonight, you guys, I know you've already played there once last night, and I've heard the reports that everyone said it was amazing. So I can imagine that tonight you've got a couple of different things on the schedule. Edward, are you nervous? You wrote that you were nervous about.
Think how nervous I am right now. It's ridiculous.
Calm down, lad.
Are you playing new material in the solo set, or do you go back to any of the Czech China Doll or any of that material?
Solo set. There's even one thing, it's a spoken word thing that, you know, I'm gonna basically have to read it as long as I don't really like it, 'cause I can't, yeah, sort of, otherwise I'm gonna take the glasses. It's you know, which it's brand new. It's like not on anything basically. So, but yeah, it's nothing old at all.
Nothing old, just something from the recent times. I always twist your arm and say, Edward, come on, let's hear one of the golden oldies. What would it take to just pull out like, you know, Dance China Doll or something?
Hard one. I find it like it's like where your head is at a particular time. It's really, I find it very hard to go back to something like not I've got anything, you know, I'm fine with what I did back in the 80s and stuff, but I don't want it to just be, you know, this is what I did 30 years ago.
Yeah.
get a lot more passionate about what I did like 3 months ago.
I would always like to see like somebody do exactly what you're doing and then just randomly at one point throw in like a new take on hanging gardens or something like that, where you just be like, you know, also making the best of taking from the old and also whatever. But you know, hey,
Quite a bit, you know, we always lift an old song or two from.
yeah,
And we do absolutely reinterpret it. It's like it won't really be exactly like it was in the 90s or the 80s. It will be very much at this time. You know, that's what makes it exciting as well, because then it becomes like a new song.
absolutely. That's what I mean. Just a slightly different take, like get Eric to do just like a, you know, a melodic structure on the guitar, and then hanging gardens comes out of that.
It's completely different every night, and sometimes it gets extremely long. As it did where was it, Omaha, was it? Where it just went
Yeah.
on, but I don't know how long that was.
That was close to an hour, I think.
Close to an hour.
Felt like a week.
Do you guys let that happen now, where an improv can go on longer than normal in a particular evening because of maybe how you're feeling? Or
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I mean, that's the beauty of it as well. You know, it just goes on.
any topping 15-20 minutes or
Getting that
it was
kind
probably-
oh, beautiful.
15, wasn't it? I think great things. Yeah.
Have you been recording the tour?
You recorded some along the way.
Yeah, just some left, right.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I would think it would be such a grand opportunity to cull a whole bunch of recordings over the course of a tour. Each night, Randall, you've been also opening with Orbit Service with Eric playing with you. Eric also played on your latest Orbit Service album. Congratulations on that as well. I mean, what was the takeaway on that? Like having Eric with you on that, I think it was kind of like a extra added bonus, I noticed.
Yeah, well, we made that, you know, during COVID lockdown. And Eric and I both work as audio engineers, so we both were not working because there was no concerts. So we started chatting back and forth, and you know, I had some rough, very, very skeletal ideas for songs. And I would just take them and send them over to Eric, and he would work on it in his studio and send me surprise tracks back. And it was really a seamless. We didn't really talk about it. It was like, here's this thing, and he would send me back all the parts that he came up with, and they just fit right in. And in fact, some of the songs I ended up, you know, I'd send tracks over there to him, and he, you know, he'd get like drums and keyboards and all this stuff from me. And when he sent it back, I would actually get rid of the drums and keyboards and just leave the guitars. It totally changes the songs, you know, because I don't know what he's gonna do. And it was a great collaboration. I'm most proud of that album. Of all the albums I've ever made, that's the
one you're most proud of. Well, that's great. And it's great that you're able to tour now with Eric and also partake in the band that Eric's also partaking in as well. I can only imagine that this just must be one giant happy family here.
It is. Yeah, it is. Absolutely. Yeah, I mean, we're all friends. It's like there's actually never friction.
Nope,
Almost boring.
almost boring. Yeah,
But not really.
no,
You know, it's like like a little community that sort of like everybody appreciates each other, likes each other, and looks after each other. And, you know, it's actually a really wonderful way to tour.
it is.
I
Yeah,
think,
there's a lot of humor in the band. So
oh, that's great. That's essential.
yeah,
Absolutely. I think Edward mentioned to me how wonderful it is to have two extremely technically qualified guys in the band along with Randall and Eric. So basically, and you know, basically, what do you have? 3 guys that could do front of house if one guy was sick there?
yeah.
I guess so, yeah.
Three
That's-
sound engineers in the band.
Eric, what do you normally mix? I know that Randall mixes a lot of bands. Do you mix a lot of bands too?
I for the last almost 15 years now, I've been primarily a monitor engineer. So yeah, I don't really do front house sound anymore. But so anything that comes by where people need monitors, I'll do it. Yeah.
What about you, Joop? Are you mixing live sound regularly there?
Yeah, for a variation of things between live music and theater mainly, and some corporate stuff as well to pay the bills.
Do you tour with any other bands?
Not at the moment. I did do some other tours with other artists. I did the other tour that we did with Amanda Palmer in Europe. We did a European tour as well.
Nice.
I did some tours with some Dutch people. I did Imogen Heap for a tour in Europe. Indeed, yeah.
Great. So everyone gets a chance to travel around the world and make the music. That's awesome. Randall, are you performing with Orbit Service tonight, or was last night the last Orbit Service show?
Last night was the final Orbit show.
Everybody. But it is true that you guys will be performing, or can I say you'll be performing with Edward and the solo sides?
Yeah,
Okay.
we're going to be Edward's band.
Yes.
That will be delightful. And tonight you've got this special guest sitting right in the middle, right there, flown all the way over from the north of England, Mr. Mark Spybey and Dead Voices on Air. I mean, Mark, come on. That's a long way to fly to partake in a special event, but you've got another one in Austin in a couple of days.
Got a special relationship with these guys.
Yes.
And Randall has been such a good friend and a supporter. And when he reaches out for me to come over here, then I'm going to say yes. And obviously, we go back a long time. We've toured before, and I'm totally aware of how the band works, and it's the ideal model touring band, But yeah, so but I think what has made this adventure different is that Nathan got involved.
Nathan and Daniel from the
Come. So these guys are from a band called the Druid, who I first met Nathan. This is like a family. This it's like hey John boy,
Hi.
hey grandma. So what happened is that I played with Randall in Albuquerque.
Yeah.
And Nathan came along and another guy called Dennis, and we hadn't played together at all before. We played together in a show, and we just rehearsed at soundcheck, and that was it. And it was one of the most magical shows I've ever done. Everything was just like click, click, click. So when I was asked to come over here, then Nathan got involved in all of the organizational stuff. And then we discussed the possibility of working together. And it just went boom, 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 to the point where it was a fairly early decision, I think, that I wouldn't make any music.
Yeah.
So I said, okay, if I'm going to come over, I want to do something different. And I want to celebrate some of the work that I've done with other people throughout the whole of my career. And can you help me do it? And it was like, yes. And I'm like, so we then started to have these Zoom chats and things. And we worked it out, and I sent music to these guys, and then they sent it back to me. And then we started rehearsing, and God, it was early August.
Yeah.
And we've been rehearsing every day ever since. And I'm so nervous, it's not funny. Because I haven't played live for years. I mean, I think the last time I played live was in Denver 6 years ago. I'm not.
It's important to point out that this time you're playing with Nathan and Daniel in a live band type format, which is
A live band format.
yeah. And you've had the opportunity to also come over a few days early and jam with the guys.
Yeah, we were. Yeah.
I've seen a couple of the lives.
All I'm doing is vocals, and I've got 3 different vocal setups that I'm using with all
Yeah.
sorts of loops and things. But it's, I mean, it just felt so good. As you can tell, I'm a very, my company is very stimulating to be. As you can tell by their soporific poses, you bastards.
Nathan and Daniel, how does it feel to be playing with Dead Voices on air?
It's great, man. I mean, like Mark said, we did it, Randall and I and Dennis did it pre-Trump years, right?
Yeah.
And then doing it in this format is just it's really cool, actually. There's a lot of freedom in there, and having Mark's hands freed up to just do vocals and effects is it's been a really creative experience, man.
Excellent. I mean, I wish I could be there a lot. I guess there isn't a live stream from the Mercury Cafe tonight, is there, Randall?
No,
I bet
unfortunately.
you a lot of people are doing little things.
Yeah,
on
it's
Facebook.
it's all
Certainly
over.
last night,
Yeah, Facebook has a lot of people sending out videos while it's happening, so that's cool.
It's the bunny man.
Who is the bunny? Who's the bunny?
Then if we're allowed to say his name. Right.
Oh, you don't have to say who, but is the bunny in the band?
No.
Oh,
I'll tell you the story, right? The first time I played with Randall and Nathan and Dennis in Denver together was at the Walnut Room.
That's right. Yeah.
And I remember going on stage and seeing this guy in a bunny suit, or this white bunny. And I'm like going, this is really quite scary. It was something out of a David Lynch film.
that's a good bunny costume.
Yeah, and
I approve.
I didn't know the person in the bunny suit by then. But then the second time I came back, I've probably forgotten about the bunny, to be honest. We played at this Globe Hall, was it?
Globe Hall, yeah. Mhm.
On stage again. The bunny's there. So I said to these guys, I said, does he just follow me around? Because I'm like thinking, am I hallucinating here? You know? Does he just follow me around, or does he come to all sorts of shows? And partly he does. And he's a guy called Justin, who's a really lovely guy. So yeah, the bunny is it's pretty damn special. He's a staple.
He is.
Yeah.
In fact, Justin ran the door for us last night and then disappeared and then showed back up in the bunny suit. So, yeah.
We
The other-
welcomed the bunny.
The other thing that some of you might not know is that this guy is also going to perform with us tonight.
Oh, wow. It's going to be a mega band. Edward, are you going to step up there too?
Because we sang a song together, and it's not in your. It's an Orbit Service song. But what happened is that Randall and I did mixes of. He did a mix of one of my songs, and I did a mix of one of his. Now, the song that I did of Randall is one of my all-time favorite songs of any band. It's called "The Painless End," and it's absolutely gorgeous. So I said, "Is it in your set?" He says, "Oh no, man, I've stopped doing it." I said, "We're doing it tomorrow night then."
That's a lot of stuff on the plate. Randall, congratulations on juggling so much stuff. I mean, like that's you just came from a tour. You were on the road before you met up with these guys, and basically you're back out within just a short period of time. And not only that, you have to absorb your own set, and now playing with Edward, and now playing with Mark, and now at the end of tonight playing the finale legendary Pink Dot set, which I can imagine you guys must be thoroughly honed in on by now.
Yeah, the Pink Dot set feels pretty tight. Yeah.
I'm so jealous. I would love to see it. Is there anything special about tonight's set or sets in any way that will be different than what the people saw on the road or the tour?
Not the songs that we play, but the way we bring them, it's actually quite different every night. That's the beauty of it, because it actually allows a lot of freedom. Songs that we play.
It's growing and morphing every day into something. Yeah, no. So how long does each band have to play? Do you have a long night, or is it starting? What time does it all start?
This one is 7 o'clock doors, 8 o'clock for the Caspell material, 9 o'clock for Dead Voices on air, and 10 o'clock for the DOTS.
Oh, that's a healthy amount of time for everybody.
Yeah.
That's great. Oh, look at the Midas mixer there.
The baby Midas.
You guys have to listen to Randall about gear. I swear that with all of his time sitting at the front of house there with effects and stuff, man, you've really honed your ears on some good stuff. I never expected that delay and the verb to be as sweet as they are.
Thanks.
Is this one of the biggest challenges of being on the road? Is that endless road?
It is, yeah.
Yeah, so much is like charm though. I mean, because this particular picture, it was taken on route, I think in Cleveland, wasn't it? We went between Cleveland and Chicago. But you know, we escaped a hurricane by about 3 days in Florida, and we escaped this enormous snow dump in Buffalo by about the same amount of time. It's like you play dodgers with the weather as you go around.
You guys were lucky. It seemed like, the potential is there. Remember Edward, didn't we hit a massive snowstorm back in the day when we went on the road?
Remember, playing in Phoenix one night, and it was like, I don't know, over 100 degrees, and then the next night indeed was in Denver and it was snowing.
Oh yeah, that's incredible.
That was pretty strange.
You go from such crazy beautiful conditions that can be either hot or cold. But
America, though, it's like I like the way we tour America because you do get to see the way it changes, and even the most boring long road in some ways holds a certain fascination.
Yeah, and you have a way of capturing it in your photos that you'll post a simple picture and it'll just speak 1,000 words.
California.
That's just yeah.
There's a lot of great moments. I think like you guys probably digest this more when you get home and you're sitting there and it's all after. Do any of you guys get post tour down, or do you?
I used to. No, I mean,
You don't get it anymore.
no.
Yeah, I don't get it anymore either.
I like getting home too.
You like getting home, yeah, everyone does. But there's nothing like being in the middle of nowhere. How many times do you think you guys were in the middle of nowhere on this tour?
Oh, every other day. Yeah.
What is the Patreon?
Most of it's in the press.
Oh my God.
Edward, what was a premium drifter hat?
Oh right, yeah. That was taken quite early on in the it was the I don't know what the premium drifter hat is, but I do know what a patriotic hat is.
I think so. But I don't know what a premium drifter hat is. Is that bad or good?
It's probably one of those that you toss into the air and it's all like floats along in the air like drifts.
$24.99. That doesn't sound like a very good deal.
It sounds like a pretty
They're premium.
Yeah.
Not for your
and
average.
that's before
drifter.
tax as well.
Yeah, that's
I thought this show in the Sultan Room in Brooklyn, New York, looked fabulous. With psychedelic lighting and everything like that, with a round stage. Did it pan out as good as it looks?
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. That's a great venue.
That was definitely a highlight of the tour.
I really think that. What a beautiful shot. I was actually hoping that there would be some more videos from that show. I've been trying to keep up on everything. But yeah, here you are in the middle of nowhere again.
That's two nowheres.
Yeah.
Lots of nowheres. They're all in the bus.
Mark, are you recognizing any of these signs?
This one is from the other day, no?
Yeah,
that's
it's like yesterday.
yeah.
Yeah.
Mark, are you driving from Denver down to Austin?
No, we're flying.
Oh, shame.
Pretty pushy.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Well, I think it's great that you guys have taken the time to sit here and chat with us for a little while. Is there anything more that we got? Randall, what more do we have to discuss before we let you guys go and get ready for the show here. Oh, where's Dizzy Pixel? Is she there?
She said she might not be able to get here early enough.
Oh, Dizzy Pixel. So when these guys, when you often do a show up in Colorado, you have a couple of the visual people and sound people that show up as well are very special people. I think playing in Denver, is it like Edward, do you consider it like the golden nest egg city of America?
It's the city that makes me more nervous than anywhere else. Just the expectations that much higher. So I'm always like a little bit like biting my nails almost for the actually getting to the city. But it is certainly very special, for that very reason. Because we got history with them. It's like we used to play these like double nights in the Bluebird Theatre way back. And,
Yeah.
And it does work. Of course, don't get away with it. It's like the last 2 visits to Denver have been really quite spectacular.
We were talking backstage when Randall was playing. And I just said to you, I said, in all sincerity, what is it with this place? Is it in the water? Because I was listening to Orbit Service and I was thinking, this is beautiful. This is just beautiful. And then I said, but the Druid, you guys were fantastic as well.
Great.
Absolutely fantastic. And there's such a sort of like plaintive kind of feel, like direct emotional feel to what's going on. There's something about this. It's got a real vibe.
It's maybe the less oxygen.
Yeah, that's a factor. I tell like
On cue.
because I thought, why am I finding it a little bit hard to sort of like hold a note last night? And then I thought, it's probably because I'm a mile above sea level. Or is it a mile? Or
Yeah,
it's a mile, isn't it?
Is the Druids slipping in a song in the Dead Voices set with you guys?
Not one of our own, but we're just supporting Mark. Yeah, so none of our materials in there, but our souls are.
Yeah. But you guys have acoustic drums and you've got like, what other type of live instruments you guys have tonight in Dead Voices on there?
Well, tonight we're not, I usually do play an acoustic drum set, but I'm actually playing mini kit today.
Oh, okay.
So
I saw acoustic drums on the rehearsal videos, but wasn't sure.
it's just a studio shot.
Yeah.
But you're playing acoustic guitar, aren't you?
I'm playing, I've got a hollow body Gretsch that I'm playing and I'm running it through a bunch of analog pedals, but predominantly tonight it's like string bow work and EBow work. And it's really, I'm trying to play the guitar like it's not a guitar. So couple
Nice.
that with, I've got some Novation synth that I'm filling in and controlling some of the synth noises and a little bit of backing in and out, so that's the plan tonight. Yeah.
All three of us are doing vocals as well. We've got, we kind of like the, new version of Beach Boys.
Are you doing the Beach Boys cover?
Well, actually, no, it's Psychic TV. Yeah, it's White Nights off Dreams
It
Left.
sounded great.
Yeah. I know.
I encourage it.
Because apparently was it you and Nathan worked on it?
Yeah, we were gonna.
As a lockdown song. So Nathan had the stems, and I don't know how we got talking about it. We started to talk about it, and literally half an hour later, we were going, Santa Claus is checking his list. And then all these guys going, pop, pop, pop.
It's totally.
No, it's beautiful. I just think that's, for me, this is the difference between sitting at home in my studio by myself, at 2 a.m. when it's raining outside and working with humans again. It's incredible.
Mark, it's got to be incredible because you've been doing that for what, a couple of years now from north of England, and now you're with human beings,
I know.
and you're in the magic city, breathing the less air and ready to let it roll, as they say. You must be excited.
Suffering nosebleeds too.
Oh yeah. Is Yope mixing you guys tonight?
I don't know.
I don't know either.
No,
I think
Dakota, we have another sound engineer here named Dakota. That's
A fourth sound engineer.
yeah, the sound engineer army.
The sound text.
Yeah.
So we've got Randall Orbit Service residing in Denver. We've got the Druid with Nathan and Daniel residing in Denver. We've now got Dead Voices on Air performing tonight live in Denver. And you've got Edward Caspell performing solo set tonight with Legendary Pink Dots tonight in Denver. And you've got Legendary Pink Dots tonight, full final set, show 26 of the Museum of Human Happiness tour. Here it is, guys.
Wow. Yeah, yeah.
Congratulations. Yeah. I would like to also big up Cosmos Mudwolf if he is going to be spinning there tonight. That will seal the deal there in Denver, Colorado. You guys, I want to be a fly on the wall all night there, but I know you got stuff to go and do. I want to thank you for tuning in with us today here. To all of you out there in Denver that get to go see this show, get down there and pat these guys on the back. Show your support. Not that you wouldn't anyways, Denver. But man, have a great night, guys.
Thanks, Kevin.
Yeah. And I'll talk to you all soon.